All right, so the first one on that, those extra problems, write the equation of a parabola which has x-intercepts 2, 0, and negative 8, 0. 2, 0, negative 8, 0. So the way you do that is it's y equals x minus 2, x plus 8. You see, if you were to solve this, 0 equals x minus 2, x minus 8, you would get two x-intercepts. One of them would be positive 2, one of them would be negative 8. So this is the equation you would have started with. That's the equation you would have started with. To write it out in standard form, you just simply have to multiply this out. X squared plus 8x minus 2x minus 16. So y is equal to x squared plus 6x
minus 16.
Way to go.
Would you ever require us to write it in the formula as if you're graphing it like y equals parentheses x plus 1?
You mean write it in x minus h squared plus k? No. Okay. I guess I reserve the right to, but to write it as y equals, like x plus 3 squared minus 25. Yeah, I better not do that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I see your face, and I won't do it. Okay, there's a question, yes.
Oh, what's the a times x minus 8 plus k thing? What's that? What
The
do you do
name
with
for that?
The completing the square thing.
Yes,
Is that what that is?
that's what you get when you complete the square, yes. We're not doing that here, though.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Okay. All right, so now for this one, I saw a lot of people actually doing some pretty good stuff. You went with the negative b over 2a idea. And that will work real well, right up until you have to type that in. And then things kind of start going a little bit sour. So what are you going to do instead? Well, you're going to learn how to use the calculator. Now, hopefully, you didn't leave it up there?
I'm sorry, I cleared everything out.
We're going to type this in. Y equals pi x squared plus square root of 7. Make sure you close the parentheses. X minus 1.87. Hit graph. Now, what are we looking for? What are we looking for? We're looking for where that bottom point is. That bottom point is what we call the vertex. And you have to know that it's the minimum point on the graph. So to find the minimum point, you do second calc. Option number 3 is minimum, so you're going to go down to option 3. Press enter. It'll ask you for the left bound. Press enter. Now, make sure your cursor is on the left-hand side. Make sure your cursor is on the left-hand side. Well, there's the vertex. Make sure your cursor is flashing to the left of that. When it is, press enter. It'll ask you to move to the right bound. Press enter. And then guess, you can always just press enter on guess. And that'll give you a vertex of negative 4.21 and okay. So that will give you the vertex. Once you find that, all you got to simply do is write it as an ordered pair, negative 0.421 and 2.427. Okay. Yes.
Whenever on the calculator, I'm trying to get it going back again so I can ask. When instead of saying the intersection, we would go to
Minimum.
minimum.
And
Okay.
that's this case. Now,
All
understand that if it were negative pi x squared plus the square root of 7x minus 1.87, then the graph would go upside down, and then you'd be looking for a maximum point at that point. Okay? So you got to look at which way the graph is, if it's concave up or if it's concave down, make a decision on maximum or minimum based on that. Okay. All right. Now, how do you find the x-intercepts for these? To find the x-intercepts, you write back to your calculator. But this time, graphing the same equation, this time you're going to graph y2 is 0. What does that do for you? Well, when it graphs the parabola, it also graphs the x-intercept, or the y-axis, or the x-axis, excuse me. Not only does it graph the parabola, but it also graphs the x-intercepts. Now, why is that important? Because if you hit second calc intersect, option number 5, it'll allow you to say first curve, second curve, guess. Now, that will give you one of them. That'll give you the right-hand side. How do you find to do the left-hand side? Do it again, second calc intersect, first curve, second curve. Now, don't do it again like that because it'll just give you the same damn number over again. Okay? Hello, definition of insanity. What you want to do is hit second calc intersect, first curve, second curve, and instead of pressing enter on the guess, move your cursor closer to this point. It's going to ultimately give you the one that it finds closest to where you put the guess. So if you move it over here, then this one's going to be closest, and it'll find that one. Okay. So here you have two answers, and you would just write them as negative 1.3 and 0.54, or negative 1.3 and 0.458. Okay. All right.
What's the solution set?
Yeah, you can, or you could just write them as x equals. I wouldn't even care. Or you can write them as an ordered pair if you wanted to.
Okay, wait, can you do that one more time?
Of course I can. Do what? How to find it?
Yeah, I got the little graph thing. I just I click on first curve and then do second curve and it's not popping up with a guess.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let me explain to you what happens there. You don't have y2 as a 0.
Oh, I need to have y2 as a 0?
Yes, ma'am. So if you don't have y2 as 0, and the sad thing is, and that's a very good question, Haley. No. Yeah, Haley. You see, if you graph y2 as 0, or you don't graph y2 as 0, the picture actually doesn't look any different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the reason is because when you graph y2 as 0, what you're actually getting is that x-axis. Now, you don't see that, but if I were to do this, if I were to turn that's fine. If I were to turn the axis off and then graph it, watch what you see. There's the parabola, and there's the x-axis coming through. You see what I'm saying? So that's actually what the calculator is seeing when it's graphing it. The problem is that as soon as I turn the axis on, then that line covers up that second line that you would typically see. Okay? But if you don't have it, beep. Filtered myself. Very proud of myself. Minus 1.87. And Haley, I know you just asked me a very simple question, and I feel like I'm giving you just a really long, rambling answer. But here's the point, because this happens on a test all the time, and people come up to me. What happens is when you go to second calc and you hit intersect, there's nothing that's telling you that you're doing it wrong. Because, in fact, you get first curve, you press enter. It's saying second curve, and you're going like this. Well, freaking do something, damn you. Right? And then you're coming up going like this. My calculator's broke. When you say that to me, I know exactly what you've done wrong. And the only thing I ever do is give you this really dumb look and go, oh, I'm sorry, I have no idea what's happening. Translation, you're not getting credit. So when that happens, know that it doesn't have a second curve to go to, and you got to put one in.
Why not just use a zero function?
You could do the zero function, but that's a little more complicated. If you just put zero there, it's easier. Okay. So once you put zero there, Haley, then you should be good. Second calc, intersect. First curve, press enter. Then it'll jump to the x-axis. Notice how the cursor is just moving right along the x-axis? So when I hit second curve, it's on the x-axis. Then when I hit guess, it'll go to the intersection where it meets the axis at. Okay. You totally didn't get that still?
Wait, you move it over?
Whatever intersection the cursor is closer to, that's the one it's going to find.
Okay.
Now for this one, to find the vertex for this one, this is on the non-calculator portion, by the way. Okay, this is on the non-calculator portion. This one is on the calculator portion. No one does this. Like, I think I asked a similar question to this a couple semesters ago on a test, and I saw somebody try to do the quadratic formula. If your thought when you see this is to use the quadratic formula, you clearly don't like technology. Okay? This one, you don't get to use technology. This one is straight. You got to be able to do it on your own. So how do you find the vertex? Negative b over 2a. So negative 12 over 2 times negative 2. So this is negative 12 over negative 4, which is 3. Okay? Now, when x is 3, what's y? Negative 2 times 3 squared plus 12 times 3 plus 3. Negative 2 times 9 plus 12 times 3 plus 3. Negative 18 plus 36 plus 3. Looks like 21. So your vertex is 3, 21. Okay.
I tried putting that in the calculator to check it, and it would just keep going to error. Because it was like really huge, and then I tried to change the max.
Yeah, you'd have to move your window. You'd have to adjust your window for sure.
For max, right?
You'd have to adjust the maximum value, yes. Okay. All right, last one. What's the discriminant for this? What's the discriminant again? B squared minus 4ac. Okay. All right, now, so b squared is 12 squared minus 4 times a times c. So 144 plus 24, is that right? Yes. Is 168. Now, based on that number, if I set this equal to 0, how many solutions will I have? I'll have 2 real solutions, yes? I'd have 2 real solutions, yes?
Yeah.
Because it's positive. If it were negative, I'd have 2 imaginary solutions. Okay.
I don't get it. Would it be negative 168 and positive 168?
No. If this were a negative number, that means when you do the quadratic formula, you get a negative number down here. That's going to produce an imaginary number, meaning that the problem cannot be solved with real numbers. Okay? All right.
But when you're finding the two answers, you're making the 168 negative.
square root of 168, yes. Any questions on that?